Got it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 193. So happy Halloween to everybody. I've got my little pumpkin here to celebrate that. And I've also got my friend Pascal, who I've talked many times about from on my channel here. So here he is. So how's it going today?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So when I first started the channel, I started getting in guests, and he goes, "If you do a Merciful Fate album or a King Diamond episode, I'll do it with you." I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. So I went and bought. I took his bluff, and I went and bought all the Merciful Fate discography.
Is that the reason why you got the Merciful Fate?
I had a few songs here and there before, but I still. How many times have I seen them with you? Twice now.
Twice now, yeah.
So yeah, I like them. I don't love them as much as you do, obviously there, but if we look back at ourselves in high school, would you have ever guessed that I would have one day the whole Merciful Fate discography?
No. I still remember the first time that I had you listen to some King Diamond. I think it was the album Them, and you told me I like the music, but that voice. And it hadn't occurred to me until that point that his voice might be not acceptable to people, to some people. I loved it from the first time I heard it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what the darkness. You takes a while for you
Yeah.
to appreciate it, but I do like Merciful Fate a lot more. It's more basic rock heavy metal than King Diamond is there.
Yeah.
And thought myself, actually, this was Pascal's idea. Why not do this before Halloween? And I looked at the dates. I'm like, hey, it's actually Halloween today. So what better person to do an album ranking than on Halloween than King Diamond? But we're going to do the Merciful Fate discography album ranking here. So yeah, I've seen Merciful Fate twice with you. I do enjoy them there. So
First time was in the mid '90s, and that was the famous time you wore your Winger T-shirt.
yes, I was debating, and then you're like, no, wear Winger, and of course I got one good comment. And remember the last time I decided to go wear that pink GI Joe shirt?
Yes,
and I
yes.
look all the crowd. I'm like, wow, I'm the only one with a pink shirt here. But anyway, okay. So shall we start?
Yes. Let's
So
talk.
we'll go from our least favorites to our favorites. I have an idea of what you'll have there, but maybe mine will. Oh, and before we start, I'm going to say we will not be talking about. This is what the Nuns Have No Fun EP. It's called.
Officially, I think it's Merciful Fate, but people
Yeah,
call it The Nuns
they
Have No
talk
Fun.
up. They people say, oh, the EP. Oh yeah, the Nuns Have No Fun. So we're not going to talk about this one because it's just an EP. So I'll just. But I do have it. This was actually the first one I got for my sexist album cover collection. So, all right. So they have 7 studio albums. We shall start now with you, my friend, since you're my guest. So, what would be number 7 for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, their output is pretty much divided in 2 different sections, I would say. Like they started off in the early '80s. They released that EP that you just showed and a couple of albums. Then they disbanded and they reunited in the '90s and did 5 albums. So there's there's a 10-year difference between both eras. So
Mm-hmm.
there's differences there. Um, I would start off by saying my favorite album from
Well,
or my
least
least
favorite.
favorite
Yeah,
from number 7.
yeah.
It's an album. At first, I wasn't too keen on it. It's from the '90s. Uh, they were releasing a lot of stuff. There was a lot of King Diamond and a lot of Merciful Fate stuff being released year after year. At some point, it became a bit. I didn't kind of have time to assimilate albums that they were releasing. So that album number 7 for me would be. I don't know if you can see it. I'm still a CD person here.
Did
You
again.
see it? Is there a reflection?
Now it's
Do
good.
it
Yeah.
again. Dead Again from 1996, I believe. Yes. So back then, like I said, it took me a while to, it took me years actually to kind of assimilate it. Um, I still find all Merciful Fate albums to me are really good. But this is the one I find the most problems with, but I still find it a good album. There's at least a good handful of songs that I really like on there. The Night is a really good song. Mandrake, probably my favorite on this album. Fear and Crossroads. Crossroads is another one I really liked. There's two songs on there that I'm not too keen on.
I
Uh,
know one of them.
the long one, Dead Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like their epic stuff usually, but this one is the one that I'm not really into. It's 14 minutes long. It's got a good basic doomy riff on it. If they would have just stuck to that riff and made it like a 5 minute song, I would have loved it. But it's kind of all interconnected by stuff that I don't find all that interesting and sometimes even cringy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The orchestra part there.
The orchestra part, yeah, that never. Every time I hear it, it's like I don't know. It doesn't. It kind of drags the song down for me. And the other song I'm not too keen on. I mean, the song itself is not too bad, but just the subject, "Sucking Your Blood," is I kind of find the title and the chorus a bit I don't know, simplistic or uh, juvenile a bit. So, but the rest of the songs are all very good. Like I said, a good handful of them I really, really like.
Cool. Number
Dead Again.
7, Dead Again.
Yes.
Well, not that I'm going to go on about it too there, but I'll put Dead Again also. This actually was my first, apart from the Nuns or the EP, this was actually the first one I bought and actually liked it. Like I was like, okay, that's actually pretty good here. I do like Torture. But yeah, your the Dead Again song there is like, there's a lot of stop and goes on it here, and it made me appreciate another song that I did, another epic song that I did not like because there was a lot of stop and
Well,
goes.
yeah,
After hearing this one,
it's a lot of stop and goes, but I don't think it really gels together all that well.
yeah. But I'm not going to go on about it here, so I'm going to go also with Dead Again as my number 7. You've talked about it much. You're much more of an expert than I am regarding this. But yeah, I like Torture. Where was? I think I remember the lady who cries actually liking that one too. There,
Yeah, that's another pretty good one.
but I'm not as good with, like I said, this was actually all happened like early this year, like that I got all the albums earlier this year there. So
Right,
anyway, number 7, I'm not gonna go on because like I said, you've talked about it already enough and you have much more important stuff to say regarding this one than I do. So Dead Again also for me, number 7. All right, number
All
6,
right.
my friend.
Number 6 used to be the one I liked the least, and it's growing and growing. This one, the last one, 9.
9.
Yeah. So 9, what was a bit of a turn off initially was the songs are pretty short. They're pretty straightforward, pretty streamlined compared to what Merciful Fate does usually. Usually they're quite progressive. They're quite a lot of tempo changes, a lot of riff changes. That's not so much the case in this album, but I grew to really appreciate it because it seems like to me they kept it to the essential most of the time, and to me it seems like King Diamond's voice, his falsetto, he uses it better than on most albums. He uses it when it's really important, when it really does something to the song.
Yeah.
And that's what I really came to appreciate from the song, from the album. I find there's a lot of pretty much all the songs are good, except there's one. The song 9 itself, I find, is just, a collage of stuff. It doesn't really. It's I don't know if it can really. For me, it's not really a song. It's the one that appears as the last song on the album,
Yeah.
where everything else I find is really good. You got really good energy for the whole album. There's no songs I don't like. I really like all the songs, but this one comes off as just pieced together, noisy kind of stuff. I thought if they had put a 7-minute epic here at the end, a really good epic, then you would have close to a perfect album for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, this one really was disappointing for the last song, but the rest of it is really good, and it's been growing ever since for me.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right. Well, then number 6. This is gonna be
Same album.
say number 9 too. It wasn't between like Dead Again and this one for me are kind of equal.
Yeah.
I do love Last Rites, and you had remember when we were making those yearly mixtapes, and I was like, oh my god, I know that song Last Rites because you had given me a CD of your year in review.
Mm-hmm.
Church of St. Anne's, not too bad too. I like that one. I forget which one else.
They have a lot of fast songs on
Yeah,
this one, I find, and there's a couple of really good kind of slow doomy songs like Church of St. Anne and The Grave.
yeah, and I'm not a doomy guy usually, but I do like that one a lot there.
Well,
I
don't you
forget if
find
it
that The
was
Grave is like
Grave or Insane there, but
yeah, like the Grave has a riff that's a bit like Zero the Hero, and it's a
yeah, okay, okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
they maintain that riff going for about 5 minutes, and it's I find it really good.
The only my only complaint, I love, like I said, it's a good. It's I don't like the new logo as much.
Same
That's
here.
but that's the only album with that one, if I remember correctly there.
I think so.
But anyway, like you've talked about this one too. I'm not gonna steal your thunder, but I do love Last Rites a lot,
Yeah.
and I've had many years of hearing it because of you there. So number 6 for me, I'm gonna put 9 also.
Good, good. So
I
far,
wasn't, yeah, I wasn't sure about those two if we were gonna be the same, but yeah, there we go.
perfect
After
match so
that,
far.
I think it's gonna get different.
Okay,
Number 5.
number 5. You see it well, no reflection here. Yeah. Into the Unknown. So you can see a lot of what I have later on is the 90s stuff, kind of normal. I grew up with the 80s stuff, but
Hmm.
yeah. So Into the Unknown, I find it's probably their best production. So
Yes.
that's well, the best production from the 90s for sure. And it's got one of their best. Well, it opens with an instrumental, a short, well, not really instrumental, but an introduction.
Hmm.
Uh, but the first song on the album, "The Uninvited Guest," is awesome. One of their best album openers. Uh, the Ghost of Change is really good. Listen to the Bell is my favorite. Uh, as good as The Uninvited Guest is, I find Listen to the Bell is an all-time classic for Merciful Fate. Then what do you have? The font is actually pretty bad on the CD here against the black backdrop. 15 Men in a Bottle of Rum.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the one that I have a problem with. The song itself is pretty good. I just don't like the subject of pirates
Yeah.
being discussed by Merciful Fate. And there's a part in the middle where they start singing "Yo Yo Yo Ho Ho" and a bottle of
Yeah,
rum.
model. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of okay. So that's the one that I kind of have a problem with. The song "Into the Unknown" is great. "Under the Spell," Dead Time's a nice little creepy story. It's kind of Little Red Riding Hood,
Yeah.
but more creepy, more gruesome. "Holy Water," that's a great song. I don't know if you know it pretty well, but it's got that riff that sounds like um, Hangar 18 from Megadeth, I find.
Hmm.
And Cthulhu, the Mad Arab Part Two, which it's good, but not as good as the
As
first one.
good as the other, yeah.
Yeah. So overall, a very good album, and the production is really good on this one.
All right. Well, number 5 for me. For once, we do not have a match. I'm gonna go with In the Shadows. It started out last, and then it starts to go up a little bit more there. That's, if I remember correctly, this is the first of the comeback albums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Egypt, love that song. The Bell Witch, the Old Oak Tree, because of our car ride back when we came back from this tour here, the
Yeah.
Merciful Fate. I was like, oh my god, that's a good song too. There, so forget which one else there. Return of the Vampire. That's the one with the version you don't like, right?
Yeah, it's with Lars Ulrich.
Yeah. I just find it such a depressing vocal, like, unless that's what he's going for. It's just like you're just watching, and you're like, all right, I better go watch a comedy now to get my spirits back up. Just the mood I find a little depressing, like he's sobbing or not
Oh
whining,
yeah,
but
yeah. I
cries
guess
like,
I.
no, 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 no. I was like, okay, I need something a little bit more. And even though most of the Merciful Fate ones are upbeat, this one would just brings me down.
Yeah.
Good song, but just vocally. But anyway, but yeah, number 5 for me. I'll go. Like I said, this was the last one that I actually got, which was somehow difficult. But yeah, they all come with I love it's like cardboard. Same
Oh,
with
yeah.
number 9 there. So yeah, I got all these as reissues, obviously there. But yeah, I do love probably the Old Oak Tree or the Bell, which would probably be my two favorites off of this album. And you saw this tour, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I saw this, and it's actually when someone asked me what my favorite concert ever was, it's probably this one.
Yeah.
Uh, it was the Return of Merciful Fate, so
Mhm.
always wanted to see them, and it was a good album. And the opening acts, there was three of them. There was Anacrusis, there was Cathedral, and Flotsam and Jetsam, and
Oh,
they
there you go.
all
Yeah.
they had all released. We're all supporting really good albums, some of the best in their career. So it was a really good show.
Cool. I wasn't there for that one. That one I wasn't really ready yet there. So, but yeah, I'm putting number
Yeah,
5 here, In the Shadows. And there you go.
very good.
All
Well,
right,
we may
number.
not be exactly alike on this one, but that's my next one. So we're pretty close. Uh, yeah, so that's their return in 1993. Long awaited album for me. And at first, I was taken aback by the production. I have to admit, I found it a bit wimpy. Um, I've grown to appreciate it. I like that you hear everything. It's more of a rock uh, production. It's still metal, but a bit more of a rock production. Um, yeah, Egypt I like, but I don't love. I've never been a super big fan of this one.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. The Bell Witch is one of my favorite on the album. The Old Oak is my favorite on this
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
That's one of the epics I really like from them. The rest of the stuff, I mean, there's another epic on the album, Legend of the Headless Horseman. Is it? Oh, sorry, Legend of the Headless Rider. Uh,
Yes.
that's another one of my favorites on there. So the long songs on here are great, I find. And to talk about Return of the Vampire a bit, that was a song that never appeared before. It appeared like on a compilation that was released in 1992 for the first time.
I remember you getting that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Return of the Vampire. It was a bunch of demo songs. Interesting for fans of Merciful Fate to see how these demos became other songs in the future and stuff. But Return of the Vampire was had never been released. It was in demo form. I really enjoy that demo version better than this. I'm grateful that this is identified. I don't know if it's the same on your vinyl, but it's identified as a bonus track here on the CD.
No,
Oh,
there's
okay.
10, there. I got 10 songs here.
Because I always considered it okay. It's a bonus track, so I don't really need to count it. I always stop the album before getting to Return of the Vampire. I find that Lars Ulrich does a horrible job on it, to be honest. Trying to, this is a simple song, and he tries to make it so
Too
much more
complicated.
complex than it needs to be with his drumming. And not only him, I don't want to bash him more than needs to, but I find the additions they did to that song, "Merciful Fate," the changes they did don't work really well. So I prefer the original. It's a simple song. Um, and I'm glad that it's just a bonus on here because I never listened to it.
All right.
It really bums me out. But yeah, so that's my number. Where are we at? Four?
This is the fourth one here, number four.
There we go. Number four.
So, but that Return of the Vampire demo, I remember you buying that. That was the first step of the reunion comeback, right?
Yeah, well, it was on a different label. It was, I think it was Roadrunner Records. I guess when it was announced, because these albums from the '90s, they were on Metal Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when Merciful Fate announced that they were reuniting, Roadrunner, I guess felt okay. Let's take advantage of that and release a compilation of
Yeah,
rarities.
because it
And
came out before
yeah, it
In the
came out in
Shadows, right?
'92.
What?
So yeah, it came out just a year before.
Yeah, okay, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
I do remember a lot of stuff back then. Maybe not
Yeah.
like them there, but I do remember. Okay, my number four. You're gonna be surprised by this one here. I'll go with this one here for number four. Main reason is to it is the mix so tinny and trebly I find, but the songs like which come to this. I was actually, so I work from home and I was listening to the albums to get and I was humming come to the Sabbath all friggin' day during my walks. That's how I take my breaks. But I was like, okay, The Oath, Gypsy is actually another one. I actually talked about this album on my friend Steve's channel regarding songs with the word gypsy in them. I'm like, oh my God, here's another one here. So it's good. It's just the mix kind of puts it a little bit lower for me there. But I know
Okay.
this is considered one of their classic, if not one of their best ones there. But I don't know. There's just something a little bit missing for me on this one here. But I guess if you listen to Melissa and then this one right after, I believe,
Yeah.
you see a difference sonically. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the same kind of production.
so anyway, number four for me, Don't Break the Oath. Don't hate me, people. I know I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the first one putting this one that low there, but there you go. Don't Break the Oath, number four for me.
All right.
And I'll let you talk about that one later on. I know you're more of
I've
an
got many
expert
things to
on
say about
Merciful
this
Fate
one,
than
I'm
I
pretty
am.
sure.
Was that?
I'm pretty sure I've got a lot to say about that one too.
All right.
So my
Number
number
three.
three, we're at number three. So it's the last one from the '90s, but we've probably talked about this one a lot over the years. Time probably has my favorite opener of any Merciful Fate albums, "Nightmare Be Thy Name."
Oh,
Um,
I still remember the day that came out, and you're like, Dan, you have to hear this. It's like uber catchy. It's
yeah, I know.
probably easily my favorite, and that's what kind of got me into them. I'm like, okay, like the '90s stuff is what got me into Merciful Fate, expanding it there. So anyway, go on.
Yeah. So stuff I like. So this came out in '94, a year after So that's the second album from the '90s. Came after In the Shadows. I find the production a bit better on this one. It's the same type of thing, but I find there's a bit more. It's a bit more solid, a bit more solid production. Um, I find all the songs are good on this, and I find there's really some really classic songs. Nightmare Be Thy Name being one of them. You have the Mad Arab. That's another classic. I don't know if it's the same for many fans. I really like the song Time. It's a mellow song. It's kind of out of character for them a bit. It's more reflective. I don't know. It's
Hmm.
it's a thoughtful song, which I really like. But my favorite of the album is not even Nightmare Be Thy Name. It's Castillo del Mortes, which is the last one on the album. 8 minute or so epic.
Hmm.
Love the story about it. Love how it all intermeshes together. So yeah, and every other song I really like on this. So that's a really good album for me.
Number three. All right. Good job. Number three for me. My first concert with them, with Into the Unknown. So when you talked about Nightmare Be Thy Name, I was like, okay, there's no way they can actually make a second single as big as that. Well, they did. Not as good as Nightmare Be Thy Name, but the uninvited guest. How many times have I told you? I was like, I really love that song, but I couldn't remember the name. I'm like, there's a little old man, whatever that one is. So you're like, oh yeah, the uninvited guest. So for like the longest time, I didn't know the title, but I could sing that song and play
And
it like air band.
it's a track where the drumming is even
Yeah.
catchy. The ride and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the beat gets you going.
Um, Listen to the Bell. I do like that one too. Into the Unknown. I do actually like that one. Holy Water and Cthulhu, the Mad Arab Part 2. So I'm not going to go as much into detail as, like I said, you went there because you know more about it. But I will say The Uninvited Guest is my second favorite song of Merciful Fate. And it was this tour that we went to in Montreal at Le Spectrum.
I think was it?
I think.
Yes, yeah, Spectrum, I think.
Is that the
I can't
one with
remember where it was.
the band Necronomicon opening?
Yes. What I remember mostly is you wearing that winger shirt.
Yes, yes. And I got one, the Winger in the
And
Heart of the
people were
Young, yeah.
fine with it. That was
And that was kind of like, it was to prove, but it was like, this can't be that bad. Like, and people, like, I got a thumbs up or good job. You know, we're all the same family here. So
yeah, yeah.
there you go. Merciful Fate, Into the Unknown for number three for me. There you go.
Good stuff.
So now we're up to their top two now.
Yeah, top two. So mine's going to be a bit predictable as a Merciful Fate fan. My number two is the yellow cover. Awesome cover. Probably my favorite cover of all times in metal.
Side note on that, I really hate the Dead Again doing that cover. It
Yeah.
doesn't look as good. Like it,
No, and yeah, it seems a bit cash grabby to me.
yeah. But it's not done right. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
like it. But anyway, go on. Yeah.
So I really love the production on this. It is different from the first album, and I like that there's a difference in the mix for both because like there's some bands where let's say like Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, they have the pretty much the same mix. People compare them and they say, yeah, those two albums go together. One is part one of
Gotcha.
and part two of the other. You can't really say that about the first two Merciful Fate album. The
Definitely. Yeah.
production is enough different that you can't really say they're the same things exactly. Um, Everything to me on this album is classic, but of course I've had these albums for forever, so I've had time to listen and re-listen to them. Highlights, A Dangerous Meeting is a great opener.
Mhm.
Um, then Desecration of Soul is another favorite. Night of the Unborn. Well, one thing I want to say about the so this is in the 80s, of course, but something I really like about Merciful Fate in the 80s, you had Timmy Henson on the bass, and Kim Ross was the drummer. Uh, Timmy Henson has some great bass lines on these albums.
Hmm.
Um, Kim Ross is a great drummer. I kind of compare him a bit to Clive. What was his name?
Clive Burr.
Clive Burr. Yeah, Clive Burr. These drummers who had they were metal, but they had some of the style from the '70s to go with it. They could be they could groove a lot. So
Yeah, a little
I
swingish to a. I find there's a.
yeah, so I find that Kim Russ is one of these kind of drummers, and it's too bad he didn't come back in the '90s for the reunion. But anyways, other than that, so Night of the Unborn, the bass is awesome on this. This is kind of the highlight of the song to
Mhm.
me. The Oath, Gypsy, I'll concur with you that it's an awesome song.
Yeah,
It's my favorite on this album. It's a simple song, but they take a good riff and they kind of explore it, change keys and everything, and they just yeah, so they just explore it to all it's worth. And then of course come to the Sabbath, which is if you want, if you're someone who wonders what Merciful Fate is all about, just listen to that song. You'll get everything that Merciful Fate can be. The topics, the rhythm changes, the multi riffs, the even uh, the awkward endings of songs. That's I don't know how you feel about Merciful Fate and how they end songs. A lot of times, sometimes it's very abrupt. A lot of songs they don't really end the conventional way.
yeah, yeah.
I find, and that's one of them as well. So yeah, classic all the way, and that was
Uber catchy song too. That Come to the Sabbath.
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
it's like I'm right now. You're talking about. I'm singing it in my head now.
Well, forever it's something they always do as an encore. Even the King Diamond band, they always do that song. So
Nice,
yeah,
good choice. All right, number two for me. Think you'll probably guess by now which one it is,
not
but
sure because yeah.
well, okay. Let's. I'll put Time as my number
Oh,
two.
there you go. Okay.
Let's call a spade, saying Nightmare Be Thy Name is not just my favorite Merciful Fate song. It's actually a fucking good song. Like, I love when I first heard it, you're like, you were right. You know my tastes. You're like, I know you're going to like this one. And perfect falsetto, perfect. It's got single written all over it, pretty much, but
Yeah.
as a metal single,
Yeah.
but Witch's Dance, the Mad Arab or Arab, I forget how. But yeah, even Time, I do like this one here. Um, and yeah, Castillo del Mortis too. I forget if it was The Preacher or Lady in Black that I like too. I'm not much. I don't know the titles as well as you there, but Nightmare Be Thy Name. Boy, did I ever listen to that! I burned that off of you back and then. It's still it's been on my iTunes or for like the longest time. So yeah, I do like this album a lot. It took me a while to find this one here too, but Witch's Dance and Nightmare Be Thy Name, two great. And there's a video for Witch's Dance, right?
I don't remember. I think you're right. I know there's one for Nightmare Be Thy Name.
Is it? That's the one that goes da 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 da
Yeah.
da da da. Yeah, there's a video for that if I remember there. Dance now, the witches da da
They
da
don't
da.
have the best videos, I have to say.
What's that?
Merciful Fate don't have the best videos, I find. So it's been a
Yeah,
while since I've watched their
true.
videos
Yeah,
on YouTube.
but yeah, go. Number two here for me, best song that they ever did for me. Nightmare Be Thy Name. For people who don't like Merciful Fate, at least give Nightmare Be Thy Name, and that's what got me started. I'll call it as it is there. That's what got me started there. So, and when this came out, I actually liked it when you played it. So, so there you go. Time number two.
And I think we have a match
It's
for the
another match
last
here for
one.
number one.
That's surprising to me. So
Again.
Melissa, and I have it in two versions. This one comes with a
Okay,
DVD,
okay.
a live DVD, only three songs though. Um, yeah, so Melissa, their first album from 1983. Uh, yeah, to me, everything on there is classic. Uh, Curse of the opens up with Evil. Curse of the
That's a good one.
Pharaohs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever was a single, but that's another song that has single written all over it. Uh, that's another one they play at every show.
Hmm.
Um, Into the Coven is my personal favorite
That's another great one too.
of Merciful Fate, like overall. One of my favorite metal songs overall. Just love all the riff. I play, I play guitar, electric guitar, and playing that song is always super fun for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's got an awkward beginning that's kind of medieval, but electric. So yeah, I really love that song, and I find it's probably his best use of the falsetto. It's really creepy at the when it gets to the chorus. So it's a very creepy chorus. It works really well. And for those who might not know, that song made it onto the Filthy 15 list. You remember the
Yeah,
PMRC
yeah. Which one again? Into the
Into the
Coven?
Coven
Yeah, okay.
that made it to the
Yes, now
Filthy.
I remember it was talk of the I forget the word, like, it wasn't sex, it wasn't drugs, it was
A
occult.
cult.
Occult,
Yeah,
yeah, that was it. Talk of the
yeah.
occult on it. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, so they made it there along with Judas Priest, Motley
Twisted
Crue. I think
Sister,
Twisted
Twisted
Sister was on there. Madonna made it.
Cyndi Lauper,
Prince. Oh,
Prince.
yeah, yeah. So they're in good company. I think Venom made made it on there
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
Um, then the big epic Satan's Fall. I think that's the one you may have mentioned back when we were talking about Dead Again. It's a it's it's a song that's composed of like 13 riffs.
Uh,
Only the beginning and only the first one gets repeated all the way at the end. The rest of it is all a mishmash, but I find that it works. All the riffs are good. And
that's the one there where there's a dun 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 dun
yeah,
dun. That part I like a lot there. Oh,
yeah.
remember,
So
I did
that's
not
another
like
one that
Satan's Fall.
yeah.
How many
Well,
times have I
it's kind
told
of
you I did not like Satan's Fall at first?
no, and I can see why. It's really it's really unconventional, and it's almost 12 minutes. So yeah, there's no riff to kind of lash onto because they don't repeat anything. But I find that kind of makes sense with the subject matter. It's kind of a
Yeah.
chaotic, epic song. But yeah, once you get to hear it a bit, it has become a fan favorite. They always play it live.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So and the last but not least, Melissa, which is kind of a ballad, and it just shows how early on that's their first album. With the topic matters of the album, they feel confident enough to do a kind of a ballad. Of course, it's about a witch, but it's an electric ballad. It works, and yeah, to me, it just proves that they were super confident. They knew what they were doing. Uh, so yeah, they were breaking the mold pretty much. So
Okay.
yeah, Melissa, my favorite.
Well, just to add to it a little bit, I find that it's not that there's standout songs as much as, Nightmare. I just found I can listen to song 1 to
Seven.
7. Nope, it's all the whole mood I find is all one big good idea.
Yeah,
There's, to me, like, I mean, I could still sing, Evil, Curse of the Pharaohs, Into the Coven. Saints Fall, like I said, I used to hate it just because of its too many stop and goes. It had nothing to do with the length.
mhm.
It just, nah, nah, and then another part of the song would start. I'm like, okay, and then nah, and it would
Yeah,
stop, and then kind of, that was my beef at the time. Then I heard Dead Again. I'm like, okay, now I can say that Saints Fall is actually, and they played it the 2 times I believe
Yeah,
I
I think they
saw.
play it every time. I'm not sure. I saw them three times, and they played it
Well, they
every
played it
time.
last time. I know that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just, to me, it's just the whole album is a good. There's no duds on this. Like they put it that way there.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, like I said, I've named some already there, but I just find it just flows so good. While some others just have, this one song maybe that I don't like as much. These to me are all pretty equal and fits well together there. So
And
number one
compared
also
to,
for me. Surprise, huh?
yeah, yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't think that would. I was, if I was gonna bet, I would have said Time would be your number one, because I know how much you like
Yeah.
Nightmare Be Thy Name. But yeah, I'm surprised that
It's
Melissa
like
is
I
your
said,
second
as a
favorite.
whole, like I said, I've been listening to them a lot. I don't know that I can't, when you're listening to them, I'm not a big as much of a knowledgeable as you are regarding this band. So I know the songs. I'm like, but associating the title sometimes gets me tricky there. But
Yeah, well, you had 7 albums to assimilate in one
yeah,
year, pretty much. So yeah, it's a
but
lot to assimilate in a short span of time. But yeah, it took me a while also, because they're a lot of these songs on Melissa are there's a lot of 70s prog in there that you can spot.
uh-huh.
And it's hard to even now, I couldn't just offhand tell you how Evil goes. uh,
Yeah,
uh, uh, of course, there's a few songs on there that are, they're really catchy in their own rights, like Curse of the Pharaoh and that kind of stuff. But there's a few on there that, okay, I can't tell you how it begins, but once I start hearing, okay, now I'm fine.
yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
one's more of as a whole. That album works as a whole, while the other ones to me have
the
some
production also is
standout
a bit
songs.
the production's a bit more raw, but it's as good. I find you
Yeah,
hear everything. Everything is well recorded. It's for me, it's as good a production as Don't Break the Oath, but Don't Break the Oath is more treble,
mm-hmm.
is more accented toward the treble.
Well, there you go. All right, well, there you go. There's our top 7 of Merciful Fate. I've actually done a album ranking of Merciful Fate on this channel. So, well, first of all, I want to thank you for joining me for this here.
Thank you. It
Um,
was fun.
Happy Halloween to everybody. And of course, there's my little jack-o'-lantern there, or whatever you want to call it there. This is my shirt from the tour I saw in Montreal. Oh, I wanted to add, remember when we went to see in Montreal, that bass player girl? I forget her name there, but I loved her. Like, to me, it would, like I said, I think she would fit well as a, but she's not a permanent member, unfortunately, there. I
No,
just thought she gave a new dynamic to the band too live.
yeah, yeah, she was good.
I liked it there. So, but anyway, I'm not the one in charge of that band there. So anyway, thank you for joining me. This is my friend Pascal, is that who we've talked many times about. This is the man, and that's it. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, and we shall see you guys next episode. And again, once again, Pascal, thank you for joining me.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye bye.